And Kyle Kuzma has been a big contributor off the bench to start the season, shooting 57% from three. But will he get the start tonight for the undermanned Lakers? The reigning sixth man of the year, Montrezl Harrell, coming off a 22-point performance on Christmas. The Lakers will try to make it 2 in a row as they host the undefeated Minnesota Timberwolves, but they will be shorthanded. Tip-off at 7 o'clock on a Sunday right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by the Hall of Famer Big Game James Worthy. We got Allie Clifton, we got Brez, and we have the 5-time NBA champion, and not only the head coach of the Sparks, but now the GM. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
On the new job.
I appreciate that, Geets.
You be taking any trips to Eastern Europe? Some scouting?
Not this year.
Not this year. Maybe yes, down the road.
Eventually, for sure. Wherever we need to go to find the best players for the Sparks, that's what we want to do.
Need a little assistant
Congratulations,
scout.
brother.
Just go with you on the journey. Congratulations, though.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, the Lakers will be without Anthony Davis tonight against the T-Wolves. Frank Vogel announced at shoot-around that AD's right calf contusion did not improve enough to the point where they were comfortable playing him tonight, the first game of a back-to-back. AD originally suffered the injury on opening night. He played Friday, but was listed as questionable on the injury report.
You know, we just want to be responsible with it. You know, we want to keep an eye on it. He injured it in the Clipper game. He re-aggravated it in the third quarter of the Dallas game. And, you know, going into the back-to-back, you know, we want to take advantage of our depth and be intelligent with his injury.
So this is the first back-to-back of the year, especially in this first month. I mean, obviously Anthony's out tonight with the calf. Are you imagining maybe staggering and sort of having AD sit one night and then LeBron sit the other, or are you pursuing these back-to-backs like normal games and just seeing how guys feel?
Yeah, we're going to approach each one throughout the whole year on a case-by-case basis, and you know, with the expectation that our guys will play both games, unless there's a reason otherwise. You know, and in this case, there's a reason otherwise with Anthony's calf, and you know, we'll like I said, we'll just continue to evaluate that throughout the year.
All right, AD has been sharp this season in just over 30 minutes per game. He's been super efficient, 58% overall. How about 43% from three? By the way, Karl Anthony Towns also out, but let's focus on AD. Any concerns, Big Game and Bish?
No, I don't. You know, it's. I don't think it's a serious injury. You know, you don't want to take any chances. You know, it's early in the season. Give him some rest. I think this, to me, kind of describes what load management is. You know, a guy that's had a mild injury. No need to kind of rush him back. You know, that could have been worse, as you see him take the fall right there. So I'm not overly concerned. I don't think it's any torn tissues or anything. So it's something that a little rehab and rest hopefully should take care of.
Yeah, I mean, not major concern, but calf injuries are similar to hamstring injury, groin injury, where if you do sustain a calf injury and you re-aggravate it, that could start to linger a little bit. And so I do believe this is the right decision tonight. But also, I think it does give us some indication that if this is an injury that is bothering Anthony Davis from opening night, that they're going to make sure over the next month or two they keep an eye on how he's doing. And so I think he'll be fine, like James said. But it isn't a different type of injury than an ankle sprain or a dislocated finger, something that you can just throw some tape on and keep it moving. I think you do have to proceed cautiously here.
If there was ever a year to proceed with caution, it's this year after the shortest offseason in history. James, we talked a lot in the preseason about the depth of this team. They go 11 deep, maybe even 12 on some nights. Their number one scoring bench in the league at 53 points per game. By the way, T-Wolves are second at 50. Without AD, how important does the bench become?
Always vital. You never want them, the actual bench, to do more. You just want them to do better at what they do. So the Lakers made some additions where they can, take care of a major player that's out. Schroeder has proven that he can score. Montrez can score. I'm really impressed, even though I hear Kuz may be starting tonight. Kuz has been extremely efficient. I see Caruso knocking down threes. You know, I see they're getting used to the spacing. So, yeah, they just need to continue what they've been doing and do it better.
Small sample size, Fish. It's your first game here with us outside of the preseason. 2 games in, what have you liked from the bench?
I like the attack mentality that the guys off the bench are playing with. Sometimes, you know, historically, when you have several new guys that are joining a team with superstars like LeBron and AD, they're a little bit tentative to play their game, right? They don't want to come in and make it seem like they're going to be too thirsty. They're going to look for their shot and take the shine away from the guys that really deserve the shine. But these guys look comfortable and confident, and I think their chemistry and camaraderie has, you know, a lot to do with that. They're not nervous about just going out and playing basketball, and those are good signs, and I think that's what's allowing them to be effective and efficient. They're not second-guessing going out and just playing the game.
So, by the way, you guys might not have seen this. Maybe you did. You know, it's Sunday. I'm going to set the scene for you. I'm watching football. I got Red Zone on. I got the laptop out. I got the iPad. We got, you know, FanDuel. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Fantasy Football Championships. And all of a sudden, I see what's trending. Clippers down 50.
Oh.
Did you see this big game, James? I got a highlight for you in the A block, which is very 73.
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want people blowing up my Twitter.
I enjoyed it. I'm allowed to say that, right? Great game.
Enjoy it, Geeter.
Love watching Dallas. They're a good offensive team. I had a lot of fun.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Dallas and Luka Doncic are the real deal. So, and yeah.
Lakers and T-Wolves tip it off at 7 right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Well played, Fish. Davis Caldwell-Pope averaging 8.5 points this season while shooting 46% from the field. He was one of 9 Lakers to hit a 3 against the Mavs on Christmas Day. Mavs are really good as we...
Welcome back. Allie Clifton joined by our Lakers insider, Mike Bresnahan. It's time for Brez's three-point play. 3 things that you were looking forward to in this game. And Brez, we begin with what we saw from the Lake Show on Christmas Day, which pertains to what many were worried about with a loss in size this offseason.
Yeah, no JaVale McGee, no Dwight Howard on this team. Made Laker fans maybe a little concerned about who's going to block all the shots, who's going to get all the rebounds. Well, as far as the second category, not a problem. The other night against Dallas, the Lakers kind of set a little history. Not since 1996 have they had this many second chance points. They had 35. Dallas had none. That's right, Allie, none for Dallas in the category the other night. And it was a big part of Frank Vogel's scouting report for this game. He said to his players, Dallas kind of took it to us on the offensive glass the last time we played them, even a couple times last season. So we need to do the opposite. And sure enough, the Lakers did just that. Took 17 offensive rebounds. Dallas had only 3. Maybe that will ease the minds of any concerned Laker fans about the loss of some size during the offseason.
Very impressive indeed. Brez, if there is one thing we know about you, you love driving the Kuz bus. What has Kyle shown you early this season?
Yeah, he's definitely been strong, a little bit below the radar, which I appreciate. You can just tell the guy is really comfortable with his three-point touch right now. We saw a little bit of this during the preseason. He was hovering around 50%. And there you see the numbers right now. 57% from three-point range, 3 of 4 against the Dallas Mavericks the other night. Also like what he did, you know, in other stats. He had 6 rebounds in only 22 minutes against the Mavs, kind of contributing in other ways. And I think, Allie, what we're seeing is a very settled Kuz right now. Obviously, he got that nice extension a few days ago, 3 years and $40 million. And I think Kuz is much more accepting of his role as a backup. Remember last season, obviously, when you add a guy like Anthony Davis, that is going to cut into some of Kuz's playing time. Didn't have the best body language at certain points last season. Now he seems entirely comfortable in everything he does.
Looking good early. Finally, though a small sample size, what are you noticing, Brez, from around the league when it comes to the West standings?
Yeah, what am I not noticing? I mean, Allie, it's crazy. It is almost upside down right now. You've got the Warriors and who else 0-2? Denver 0-2. I wanted to say Minnesota, but they're actually 2-0. Look at these standings right now, Allie. This is crazy. Okay, Timberwolves, not a playoff team last year. Sacramento, not a playoff team. Same for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Kings, you know, probably the biggest surprise so far under Luke Walton in his second season up there. Spurs supposed to be a rebuilding year. This is shocking. Now, the Lakers obviously hoping to pin a loss on Minnesota. It's going to be more difficult, obviously, without any Karl Anthony Towns. But as of now, less than a week into the season, no doubt about that, the Western Conference standings are completely upside down.
Thanks as always, Brez. Way to bring the sunshine to this segment. We appreciate it.
The Lakers have 4 games at home to start the season. 2 remain tonight against the T-Wolves, then tomorrow against Dame and the Blazers. Then they embark on their first road trip in 10 months. They'll spend New Year's in San Antonio with a game there on Wednesday, and then New Year's Day. That's followed by 2 in Memphis beginning next Sunday. Dennis Schroeder hopes he has a lot more games in a Laker uniform. A Woj report on Friday said that the Lakers and Schroeder have begun discussing a contract extension. He's only signed through this season, and as good as he's looked so far, he sounds interested in staying in LA.
For sure, I want to extend. I mean, but like I said, it's got to be fair on both sides, and we can talk about it. But for sure, it's a hell of an organization. What I've seen so far in this month, teammates are, amazing. Front office, the people here, they're doing everything for you and your family, and just what you want to be. You want to be in that environment that you can just focus on basketball and get better every single day. So I would love to. It's got to be fair on both sides. That's all I got to say.
James, are you surprised at all how quickly Schroeder's kind of acclimated to the starters in this entire team?
No, not really. He was the runner-up for six-man player of the year. He's proven that he can play. And when it comes to the team building, this is what you do. Rob is in the process of doing that. Fish can speak to that. He does it, with the spark. So, you bring guys in, and then they like what they see. You try to extend that, bringing in Montrez and, guys like that, Schroeder, Wes Matthews. You want to bring in guys that, might want to stick around. He's definitely a keeper, a point guard that can do multiple things on the floor on both ends, score, shoot the three. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Fish, I know it's only been 2 games, but that change of pace, the speed, even the catch and shoot defensively, he's shown the arsenal to be complete so far.
Yeah, yes. I believe that's why the Lakers were so aggressive in making the trade to acquire Dennis. I think they really did believe in his ability to impact their roster this way. The impact that Rondo was able to have with the basketball, creating plays for others, that was a valuable piece for the Lakers the last couple years. And with that subtraction, I believe they were very intentional about adding a guy like Schroeder who can make plays for himself, make plays for others, but more dynamic of an offensive player than Rajon. And so it actually leveled the Lakers up in the backcourt. And this is their window. The next 2 to 3 years, this belongs to the Lakers as long as they can stay healthy to have an opportunity to win a championship every single season. And you can't let that go by, and I think Pelinka's being aggressive in that way.
Glad you brought up Rondo. It was on display, especially in the playoffs, just that chemistry he had with AD and others in the pick and roll. And I think Dennis Schroeder came in right away, James, watched a lot of video. Apparently he's texting AD at night, talking about it as they watch the games over again. And we've seen in the pick and roll chemistry with AD and Trez so far.
And that makes you want to extend the contract even more when you have a player that comes in. You don't really have to tell him what to do. He's been around long enough to see the relationships and how important they are. Obviously, he knows about Rondo and AD's relationship going back to New Orleans. So immediately, he wanted to come in and make an impact. He also said, look, I want to start. He was very confident about what he wanted to do, made that vocal to the coaching staff. So he has a vision of what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and he can back it up with his play.
All right, Lakers and T-Wolves are about 30 minutes away from tip-off here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Markieff Morris got it going offensively on Christmas. 9 points shooting, 3 for 5 from deep for Keith. And later on Access, we're counting them down from 10 to 1. What's the Lakers' top play for the first week of the new season? Stick around and find out.
Access Sportsnet Lakers is brought to you in part by Moron.
Rest, no question. All right, this may be something to watch all season, not just with the Lakers. For the latest, let's get you downtown. Lakers reporter Mike Trudell's in the building. Michael.
What's happening, Geeter? Hey, guys, nice to see you. You can actually see AD working out right behind me, just getting some shots up, moving around a little bit, and he looks pretty good on that calf. In fact, I'm going to ask Frank Vogel in a moment here about whether or not he's going to be available to play tomorrow night. So let's go ahead and hear from Frank Vogel first to get the AD update, and then talk a little bit about the game tonight against the Timberwolves.
Well, we hope that he'll be available tomorrow, but we have to see how he feels tomorrow with with injuries where, it's kind of day-to-day things, see how it responds to treatment. And, but we're hopeful that he'll play tomorrow.
Can you tell us who's going to start instead of Anthony?
Yeah, we're going to start Kyle Kuzma. He had a terrific preseason, and, it's obviously a starter-level player that we're using in a six-man role. And, he's going to get the start tonight. I would anticipate if LeBron or Anthony misses, that Kyle would likely be the starter in those situations. Because he's a 3-4, and he can fill in either one of those spots. But again, we would take that case by case.
And Frank, we also just heard that Karl Anthony Towns isn't going to play for Minnesota. How does that impact this game, in addition to the fact that AD is going to be out?
Yeah, well, he's one of the best players in the league, so obviously it changes them dramatically. We got to make sure we don't let our guard down. We had a few instances last year where the opponent had key guys out. And, we didn't play to our abilities, and other guys on the other team were able to step up. And, I expect that from the Timberwolves tonight. They have good centers to fill in, and, they got five small horses, in terms of Rubio, Russell, Beasley playing at a really high level for these guys, and then the two young guys, Culver and Edwards, that are just, playing terrific off to great starts. So, you got to make sure we don't let our guard down, and make sure we play a great game.
Walk down the aisle. All right, guys, so you do have two #1 picks out in Cat and Anthony Davis, but there are still two other #1 overall picks. That's LeBron in 2003, and, of course, Anthony Edwards, the rookie from this season from 2020. So it'll be fun to see those guys take the court in a couple moments here.
All right, Mike, appreciate that, my friend. Hear from you later on. Listen, it's only 2 games, but a huge difference. I want to show you guys the numbers. It's with the defense. I mean, this was the calling card for the Lakers last year. They were the best defensive team in the league, especially in the playoffs. Defensive rating 3rd last year, 21st this year. Opponent's field goal percentage, look at that, 48%. That's 19th. The threes is 18th. And the blocks is the big one, Fish. I wanted you to see this first. Last year, 6.6 blocks per game, just under 7. That's first in the NBA. All the rim protection. This year, they only have 3 blocks per game. That's 27. How much are they missing it, Fish? How important is that stat?
No, the stat is important in terms of the rim protection. Of course, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, guys that were really, elite at rim protection. But defense is really about connection and communication. And when you're bringing in as many new guys as the Lakers are, they're still working on that chemistry and connection and communication on the defensive end. JaVale and Dwight erased a lot of mistakes at the rim. This team is still figuring out how to do that. And I believe they will. But when you're the defending champion in a short offseason, there's a sense of urgency and engagement that elite defense requires. This team doesn't have that yet. It's still a little early in the season for them to feel like every possession they have to get a stop. That is something that will develop over time.
It'll be a different type of defense. When you lose 2 key shot blockers, it may make them a better defensive team collectively. They don't have that, that support on the back line like they did. Gasol is a good defensive player when it comes to positioning, and he probably knows the vertical rule and things like that. But so I expect that over time, Montrez, guys like Schroeder, Wes Matthews, Kuz is really starting to play. Caruso still remarkable. I think they'll become a better perimeter team and not allow teams to break them down and get to the rim. So it might, like Fish said, it'll take some time. But I think with the additions they've made, they might be even better defensively.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. But they have a number of guys in that double-digit rotation, minutes per game, that are new guys. Wes Matthews, Dennis Schroeder, Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell. Learning how to communicate. Yeah. Are you switching or not? Those things are really important to great defense.
Big game moments ago in Trudell was talking, you saw AD getting some work in. You saw the sleeve on the calf. A surprising stat because he's been remarkable, but he doesn't have a block yet this season through 2 games.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah.
And he probably has altered a few and probably changed a few guys' mind as far as coming and trying to challenge him. So I'm not worried about him. He's proven that he has good timing from the weak side, a good on-the-ball shot blocker. So he is the one that's left. We lost 2 others, but I'm not worried about AD. He'll come around.
Always a good sign, though. Getting out there, get some shots up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Great to see AD out there. This is a good sign that he might play tomorrow night, but for sure when they get out on that road trip, he'll be out there. But AD having 0 blocks through 2 games tells you all you need to know about why it's early.
Early. All you need to know. All right, we're getting closer to tip-off. Former Laker D'Angelo Russell and the T-Wolves are 2-0 to start the season. D'Lo averaging a little over 21 points per game. He scored 25 in last night's win in Utah. Coming up on Access, he's announced his arrival in the loudest way possible. Montrezl Harrell has already made his presence felt, and next he goes one-on-one with Mike Trudell.